Hey there everybody, and welcome back to more Soul Reaver 2. Today we are going to re-enter the Stronghold, because this game is all about backtracking. We saw this briefly in the last video. Shoot that and it unlocks those doors that have those crystals on them. And go in the water. Good thing there's no enemies in this water. Devil May Cry had enemies, and the first time you encounter them, you don't have a weapon, which isn't so bad if you know where to go, but if you don't, it's annoying. I bet somebody who's in charge of that door is like, "Hey, who left the door open? The dog's gonna get out.
Over there.
Were you born in a barn?" All mad because Raziel's running in here messing up his work. He had one job. Keep that door closed.
To arms!
I love hearing Raziel attack Raziel. That's always fun. Right, so I want to keep this Light Reaver as much as possible during this section. I know I mentioned this last video. As long as you have it equipped, it keeps you from losing health. Unless you get hit, of course. So it's a little more like the Reaver in the first game, which is nice. And I'm pretty sure I never intended to pick up this weapon. And especially considering I don't particularly enjoy these types of weapons, I would rather not have it, but trying to toss these weapons can be annoying. This is not the only time this is going to happen to me this video. Anybody who saw how I got screwed over at the end of Soul Reaver 1, oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get something similar to that this video, towards the end. I do like that whole impaling thing, that's nice. I approve. Yeah, this game is all about backtracking. For better or worse. The map in this game feels a lot smaller than the one in Soul Reaver or Blood Omen. Or even Blood Omen 2 for that matter. It's not something I ever noticed before this playthrough, but the level design in this game is really disappointing.
Show yourself, Kain.
Here, Raziel. Everything is decided here. You cannot comprehend the magnitude, the rapture and the tragedy of this moment. And yet you must, if Nosgoth is to be dragged from the wreckage of its damnation.
I understand only this, Kain. That you and Mobius have impelled me to this moment simply means I can trust neither of you. I don't know who's pulling the strings, but it no longer matters, because I'm cutting them. I set my own course from here.
If it were only that simple.
Your fatalism is tiresome, Kain.
And profoundly ingrained, Raziel. You must understand, our presence here doesn't alter history. You and I meet here because we are compelled to. We have always met here. History is irredeemable. Drop a stone into a rushing river. The current simply courses around it and flows on as if the obstruction were never there. You and I are pebbles, Raziel, and have even less hope of disrupting the time stream. The continuum of history is simply too strong, too resilient. Except, then how do we explain William here? The beloved boy king turned tyrant. In my youth, I witnessed William's rise to power and his transformation into the nemesis who laid waste to Nosgoth.
Keep your distance, Kain.
Years later, I stumble upon a chance to journey back in history, unaware that the entire affair has been carefully orchestrated by Mobius. In my wisdom, I seize this opportunity to murder the young king before he can ravage Nosgoth, and thereby provide the catalyst Mobius needs to ignite a genocidal war against our race.
I warn you, no further.
This one reckless act unravels the skein of history. The nemesis never becomes the nemesis. William dies a martyred saint. I, the vampire assassin, become the author of my own species' extinction, and Mobius profits from it all. I destroyed a tyrant only to create one far worse. But how can it be so? How, if history is immutable? The answer is here in this room, Raziel. Mobius propelled William and me together, but ensured first that we were both armed with the Soul Reaver. The Reaver is the key. Two incarnations of the blade meet in time and space. A paradox is created, a temporal distortion powerful enough to derail history.
Is this your sorcery?
Not mine, Raziel. Yours. You have nothing to fear from me, Raziel. You hold all the cards.
Then perhaps I should test your sincerity. If what you say is true, you should be terrified. I could kill you here and now.
And so you do, Raziel.
What's happening?
We're hurtling towards our destinies, Raziel. What you feel is the pull of history rushing to meet us. This is where history and destiny collide. If you truly believe in free will, Raziel, now is the time to prove it. Kill me now, and we both become pawns of history, dragged down the path of an artificial destiny. I was ordained to assume the role of Balance Guardian in Nosgoth, while you were destined to be its savior. But the map of my fate was redrawn by Mobius, and so in turn was yours.
This is madness!
Fight it, Raziel. This moment does not have to be an ending. It can become a prelude.
I can't.
You can, Raziel. Look inside and see that it is so. You have the power to reshape our inevitable futures. Poor William. History abhors a paradox, Raziel. Even now, the time stream strains to divert itself, finding its old course blocked by your refusal to destroy me. The future is reshuffling itself to accommodate your monumental decision. This is where we restore ourselves, Raziel, and reclaim our intended destinies. It may yet be possible for me to assume my role as Balance Guardian and return the pillars to their rightful inheritors.
To the vampires. And this is the destiny you have urged me to discover. I don't know what game you and Mobius are playing, Kain, but I refuse to be your pawn. Unlike you, I still revere whatever shred of humanity I've managed to preserve. You will not use me as the instrument of your messianic delusions.
Very well, Raziel. I'll not ask you to trust me. Your truths are for you to discover alone.
Humble words for one who presumes to teach me a lesson at every turn.
Then continue your journey and learn your own lessons, Raziel. Remember, Mobius led you here, but you walk away unfettered. A champion of free will and conqueror of false histories. There is much more for you to unearth, if you have the heart for the truth and the will to see it.
Awesome. I like how they incorporate storylines from Blood Omen into this game. That cutscene brings up the idea of predestination. Nobody in this universe can change their fate except Raziel. Probably because he died already. So this timeline did not plan for Kain being alive. So we will have to see what kind of changes that brings as we go throughout the game. Spoiler, we won't see a change until the end. Damn it, open the door. Raziel will explain later why he didn't kill Kain. And yeah, I am trying to avoid killing people as much as possible. And I'm not sure why they took away the Light Reaver in that scene. Luckily, there was another basin to get it back, because we definitely want this Reaver enhancement. You know, that was your fault. You're the one that got in my way. I was trying to leave. Some things are going to happen where we are definitely going to want this Light Reaver. Dude, how are you standing up to the Reaver? That took way more hits than it should have. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but at times you'll see me swing the Reaver at nothing prior to a fight. That is because when you do that, you can help charge it up so that it's more powerful.
There's one.
Yeah, good luck with that. I am not sticking around. Thankfully, this time I don't have to fight you guys. Well, somebody just died there, but whatever. Again, their fault, not mine.
Seize him.
I never understood these forced fight segments. If they're gonna lock the doors, you would think, well, just keep the doors locked. What's he gonna do? Eventually, he'll fade into the spectral realm, and then what? He still can't pass through walls for some reason. Just imagine this epic saga that could be undone simply by leaving a door locked. That would be more disappointing than taking out a series-long villain off-screen at the beginning of another game. Which is unnecessary because there's no reason to force somebody to fight those guys. Or gals, whatever. People that look like they don't know how to make a proper dinner. I love it when the camera does that. Out my way. And you see that light basin? We are going to need that in a bit. So, Raziel mentioned a second time streaming device and that there was a crystal above it. So, we know what to do with that. It would be nice if I had a target reticle.
Ah, yes. I like that look on your face, Mobius. You really don't know what to do now, do you, old man? Here you are, caught without your damned staff. And I suspect things aren't progressing quite as you'd hoped. You're not used to the fly turning to confront you in your web, are you?
Kain's devious influence has poisoned your mind, Raziel. Now you see betrayal everywhere, even in your closest allies.
We were never allies, Mobius. Conspirators, perhaps. Briefly.
Why did you not kill Kain when you had the chance? He was at your mercy.
Precisely. I had a choice, and I chose mercy. And now I know your sordid little secret. The significance of that displacement I felt when the two Reavers came together. Strangely enough, I was enlightened by the devious Kain, not by you. In fact, I've learned much more than you counted on. I understand now how you've tried to manipulate all of history for your own personal gain. But now all your little schemes are whirling in ruin around you, aren't they? All because I chose to exert my will for once, rather than obey the demands of sorcerers and spirits and demons, all singing the same tiresome refrain, "Kill Kain." I'm setting my own path from here, Mobius. I intend to discover the truth behind all of this.
But you condemn us all with this impetuous act.
Hardly impetuous. It took all the will I could muster. Has my refusal to kill Kain reshuffled your carefully stacked deck of cards?
You really think that you're exercising your free will, Raziel? You're simply Kain's servant.
I do not serve Kain. I merely did not kill him.
Raziel, do not forget your purpose here. You are destined to be the savior of Nosgoth.
Oh, I'm sick of hearing that particular phrase. As for saving Nosgoth, so far I see precious little reason to bother. And I'll choose my own purpose from here on out, Time Streamer. Right now, I choose to manipulate you for a change. Go. In there.
What are you doing?
Come, Mobius. You're a cunning serpent. You'll piece it together, I imagine. This era is of no further use to me. You will operate this device to provide me passage. I want to see the world in a simpler time, before the Sarafan began their crusade.
And what about Kain? You're leaving your core behind.
You kill him if it's so damned important.
You need only touch the two poles of the switch, and the device will transport you. But I urge you to reconsider.
You've lost your powers of persuasion, old man. Rot here and forget me.
So Raziel just trusted Mobius to operate a device that he didn't know how to work.
Even as I emerged from that infernal time-streaming chamber, I suspected treachery. The stronghold was vacant, derelict, and abandoned.
I'm not sure about abandoned. Meet these green demon enemies. I'm not sure what they're actually called, but they are really annoying. And not only are you introduced to them in a group, but we now get to go through a gauntlet of them. In the dark. In an area where a lot of the rooms are boxes and circles, where the walls all look the same. And they generate force fields, so you have to kill them in order to progress. So you have to engage in an aspect of this game that I don't care for in order to progress. They can also follow you into the spectral realm. And I can't get any souls. I am not sure what the devs were thinking making these things. Granted, they look okay. It's nice to have an interesting looking enemy. All we've been fighting are mostly humans to this point. Maybe some vampires or zombies in the temples. And yes, I had to use that checkpoint. Thankfully, it saves the enemies that you killed, which was unexpected. Also, if you take a wrong turn, and go through a door and then backtrack, you risk respawning more of these things. So since there's a light font nearby, I am going to make use of the spectral realm to regain health and then go back there to regain my light reaver. Yeah, and I'm still not sure why he picked up that fucking sword. Dude, just die. You don't want to fight these things with normal weapons. That is only our second battle with these things. And I'm only going to show this once, just to show that it's something that I do. And as you can see, not many souls are floating about. I remember this game having more souls than this remaster seems to have. Now, I don't know if I'm remembering incorrectly or if they reduced the amount of souls in this remaster. Could be either one. But there are moments where I can't find any souls and I just have to progress in the spectral realm, which is far easier to see where you're going than in the normal realm. So I'm waiting here because I know more demons are going to spawn. Dick. I need to actually go in there to spawn them first. Now what you can do is run away, which is what I'm doing here. And when you do that, get far enough away, these guys will fight the demons. So you can pick off their souls, which is nice. Now, they are not going to take down one of these demons. That is not going to happen, unfortunately. But hopefully they'll do a little bit of damage. Because, yeah, we have to deal with these guys ourselves. What that does accomplish is keep you from having to fight the demons and the humans at the same time, because they will all team up against you if you go in there. I'm not sure if it would be better to lock on to one of these things. I felt like just running around swinging the Reaver seemed to work better. And I'm just trying to charge it up here. However, I did not exactly handle these fights well, so that may not be the best strategy. I don't know. Yeah, more of these things. This is at least the 8th and 9th, maybe even 10th one of these that we've had to deal with. That's a lot. This is not the only demon gauntlet we will get in the game. And I'm just waiting again. I was hoping to back up, but somehow their stupid force field came up. Fortunately, I can walk over here. If you try to engage in fighting here while the demons are fighting those people, then the people will attack you as well. So you want to let the demons take out the people first and hope that the people do some damage against these demons. It's not going to be much because they're just fighting these guys with swords. But against these things, you want to take every advantage you can get. I mean, why would you want to fight these demons with the swords when you have a Reaver? That would be silly, right? We would never do that. Or we would never be forced to do that because this game's mechanics are awkward and a bit broken. Another benefit to having this light Reaver is, as much as I've complained about how dark it is in this area, it would be far worse without the light Reaver. At least there's a little bit of light around Raziel. So that does help. And if I seem a bit tired, that's because I've been at work all day. Trying to get back used to being at work after a lengthy break. It is kind of fun watching the fights. I like it when enemies can fight each other and hurt each other. I do wish the humans had some sort of a chance. They made these enemies too powerful. If they weren't so common, then it would be okay. But as you can tell, these things are all over the place. And apparently these things were brought here by Azimuth the Planer. I believe that's the Dimension Guardian that Kain killed in Blood Omen 1. Azimuth was one of the Guardians in Dark Eden that was messing around with crazy magic and caused that area to be all fucked up. We had lava and strange monsters around. I think some of these demons might be intended to be the same demons in Dark Eden, but I'm not sure on that. And Azimuth opened up a portal to another dimension, which we will find out more about later in the series, that brought these demons to Nosgoth. And they never say in-game that Azimuth is the one that brought these things here. When I say in-game, I mean Soul Reaver 2. They never mention Azimuth. From what I've read, Azimuth weakened the barrier between this dimension and another dimension, which we will see briefly in Blood Omen 2 and a little bit more, but still very briefly in Defiance. And I still don't love that they can enter the spectral realm. And because of that, we don't have the Light Reaver, which makes this a lot darker. Which will look a lot worse on YouTube, I'm sure. Nothing that can be done to fix that. And this is where that mechanic of the Reaver can hurt you really starts to suck. So there's no difficulty setting on this game. So as you've seen, I'm playing on the only difficulty you can. And you're able to skip most fights early on. You don't really need to engage in battle, but these guys are a lot harder and you have to fight them. And you're not given good tools to do so. So you don't necessarily have to deal with the negative repercussions of this Reaver turning on you throughout the first half of this game. But now, that's a big issue because you're going to take a lot of damage if you fight these enemies with anything other than the Reaver. And I can't remember if it's in here or someplace else I get really lost in. I end up backtracking multiple times to that courtyard, and every time I would go through that door, those demons would respawn. Thankfully, I didn't have to fight them.
If I had any doubts about the era I now occupied, this grotesque tableau certainly eliminated them. For here was Mobius, long since murdered by Kain, lionized and beatified as the martyred leader of his bloodthirsty crusade. And if I required further evidence, I needed only to behold the gruesome trophy Mobius held aloft. A severed head of Volador, the final triumphant kill of Mobius's cutthroat mob. His execution marked the annihilation of the vampires. Far from channeling me into Nosgoth's past, Mobius had propelled me over a century to its ghastly future. The intent behind this little detour was unmistakable. Having failed to make me his obedient assassin, Mobius intended to keep me ignorant of my true destiny, which clearly lay in Nosgoth's past. While his deception only reinforced my purpose, Mobius had effectively stranded me here. This left me no course but to explore the era I now occupied and see what changes the century had wrought following Kain's ill-fated decision. Perhaps time had cleared a path for me into the mountains, where I might unearth more clues behind the mystery of Janos Audron.
Awesome. More demons and Raziel telling the player what we need to do next. I know I've mentioned it before, but they do that a lot in this game. Now I understand you don't want the player to be completely confused, but how about giving them a chance to at least try to figure something out on their own? At least in Soul Reaver 1, if you got stuck, you could go to Ariel or the Elder God for tips, but you didn't have to. And thank the metal gods, I see a light basin. Come to me, my pretty. It's slightly better. I think we're about 150 years after Blood Omen 1. This is the only encounter with these things I'm aware of in this section that you can skip. So you better believe I'm taking advantage of that.
Raziel.
What pathetic charade is this now, Mobius?
No charade, Raziel. Only the entreaties of this martyred spirit.
Your pleas mean nothing to me after all your deceit. You have propelled me into Nosgoth's future, Mobius, and left me stranded here.
I am truly sorry, Raziel, but it was necessary. Consider it the last valiant act of a doomed man. You have strayed from your purpose, and now behold the result. Gaze upon the wasteland you and Kain authored together.
I fail to see how I'm responsible.
You spared Kain, and by doing so, you have released a multitude of horrors upon this world. I can accept that Kain has murdered me, Raziel. As the Time Guardian, I foresaw that incident long before it occurred, and I take some small comfort in the fact that Kain remains the sole survivor of his vile breed. But you have single-handedly made my sacrifice meaningless.
Your argument is disingenuous, Time Streamer. I cannot see how killing or sparing Kain's future self would alter these events. This wasteland was created by Kain's original refusal at the Pillars. And amidst all these twists and turns, that event has never changed. You are cunning, Mobius. But I think you've gotten tangled in your own web.
As Kain clings to his precious seat of power, the Pillars sink into a mire of decay, dragging all of Nosgoth down with them.
I don't think this has anything to do with the Pillars, or Kain's failure to sacrifice himself. I think you're simply afraid, because you don't know what he's up to. He's a wild card, isn't he? And you don't want his influence in your game. Which is why you wanted me to eliminate him. Well, now that he survived, you have no idea what's coming, do you? Maybe, for the first time in your entire life, you're terrified that he may have truly found a third option out of the dilemma you orchestrated for him.
Kain's lies have addled your mind. Leave this place and trouble my spirit no more.
If you even are a spirit, you've forgotten. I have a way to tell for sure. If you're willing to risk it. I didn't think so. Either way, you lose.
Right, so we did see Mobius get killed at the end of Blood Omen, but he is not a spirit there. That is, I'm assuming, some kind of an illusion. We did see him create illusions of himself in Blood Omen, and it was confirmed by Crystal Dynamics that was not Mobius' spirit. Oh boy, more demons! I forgot to say it earlier, but I had a few cuts during this part because, again, I had issues navigating these rooms that all look the same. Oh, here's where I got screwed over. So, in trying to fight these enemies, Raziel picked up a sword. Why that sword was there, I have no idea. So now I'm in the spectral realm, of which I cannot get out of. So now we have to walk the rest of the way in the spectral realm. And as you can see, I cannot find any more souls. The plus side, I can get out of here without swimming. The bad thing is I probably have more swimming to do because I have to walk a bit further to get to a portal to get out of here. I was irate at this point. Why the developers would make pick up a weapon the same button as attack, I have no idea. I don't know if I can blame the people who did the remaster because I don't know if they could have changed that. They may not have been able to. I don't know coding, so I'm not sure what they are or are not able to do with an old game. But the original people who made this game, they made that decision and it was a stupid one. And I was really frustrated because up until now we've had no save point. But I'm finally at a save point and going to end the video here. Thanks for watching and I will see you next time with more Soul Reaver 2. Just in time as I was starting to rant.